Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spoiler Warning Podcast. This is review number 840 with a review of Supergirl. I'm Christopher Schnese.
And I'm Stephen Miller.
And if you're joining us for the first time, the Spoiler Warning Podcast is a weekly film review program. Each week on the show, we're going to dive in, debate, discuss, and argue over the latest films coming to a theater near you. This week, we are sitting down to talk about Supergirl, the latest follow-up from James Gunn in his DCU. This is the follow-up to last year's Superman film, which I think, Steven, we were pretty big fans of, or, at least
for sure,
pretty good fans of that film.
We probably gave it a must-see. I think we did.
Yeah.
At the very least, we didn't have any strong criticisms.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was a very entertaining film. It introduced us to this wacky world that we were going to be playing in. That film kind of had that ending where Supergirl crashed into that film, and we got our first look at what was theoretically going to be the film that we were going to be, at least the tone of the film that we were going to be entering in here. Did that teaser at the end of that film kind of get your interest piqued in like the type of film that we were going to be watching? I almost said tonight. We're going to be reviewing it tonight, but the film we were going to be watching this weekend, Stephen.
Yeah, I would say it did for the most part. It wasn't like a highlight of the movie for me, but I don't know if I talked about this in my review of Superman, but to me, one of the things that had been a little strange tonally was Crypto and the joke of Crypto compared to how buttoned up Superman is. And yeah. I feel like Milly Alcock crashing in at the end and being like, oh, Crypto's actually a part of my movie, and like showing that tone instead, it got me excited. It was like, okay, not only are you aware of like the tonal clashes here, but you are like introducing me to the next installment. I hadn't seen enough to be like sure that I would love it, but I was definitely interested, right? It's kind of them going Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm definitely intrigued by that.
Yeah, having Crypto in the other movie was kind of like, okay, that's a little bit, I like the Superman straight-lacedness and this like dog's just chaotic energy for him, but the idea of watching a film where that chaotic energy was going to be the whole thing was like, all right, let's see what we're going to get with that. And I think when the first trailers hit for this film, I was kind of like, I'm not into this.
Right.
I was like, I'm kind of curious at what we're going to get here. So going into this film, it kind of, I think Supergirl kind of sprung up on me. Like, this wasn't a film that I was eagerly anticipating it to come out. It was kind of like, oh shit, it's coming out this weekend. It's time to watch it. But I think going into it, I was like, all right, I'm in a playful energy to watch this film and see what we're going to get. How are you feeling kind of going into it?
I mean, reviews were not great. I didn't read reviews, but the internet vibe, it was clear that this movie was getting dunked on. So I wasn't as excited going in to watch it as I would have been a month ago if you said hey, Supergirl's coming out, we're going to review it. But still, I wanted to see if the haters were wrong. So I still went in feeling bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and hoping for the best.
This is one of those situations that where the online discourse about this film it feels like one of those things where I can't tell whether anybody who's complaining about the film has seen the film or if it's just people hating on the film. So it was I didn't know whether to trust the lackluster.
There's obviously the bad faith Gamergate-ish type crew that were just dancing on the grave of any kind of female-led superhero movie, and also wants to see James Gunn fail. The double whammy. I started to see at least headlines from actual movie critics that also seemed kind of negative, and that's what gave me some pause, but only some. The most beautiful thing I saw when going into this movie was runtime 108 minutes. I was like, hell yeah. I am not having to sit through some kind of belabored third act that goes on forever. You're doing the zippy superhero thing. So if it was good, it was going to be awesome. Love a movie that can nail it quickly. If it was rough, it was going to be in and out, Yeah. So either way, that made me happy.
Just for the record, Stephen, you had dog puns of the wazoo during all of your statements just now.
I got dogs on the brain. I got a puppy.
There's pause, and there was rough, and there was...
Yep. I didn't catch pause, but by rough, even I caught it and heard myself. And I think I need to get out of puppy land for a little while.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you're going to have to stay in puppy land for at least the next, 30 minutes or so. But
yeah. No, I live in Puppyland now.
Yeah. Well, you ready to get in deeper into Puppyland, Steven?
I sure am.
All right, let's take a listen to the trailer for Supergirl and then let everybody know our thoughts.
Here's the thing. My cousin and I have very different ideas about what it means to be a hero. He sees the good in everyone. And I see the truth.
The brigands brought destruction to every corner of the universe. The galaxy must be defended.
You cannot give up on me.
Now it's a party.
Oh, that might be a problem.
I know it's pretty colorful, but that's just so everyone knows we're good.
I'm going to tell you something. Only one of you is going to make it out alive.
We haven't been formally introduced.
All right, so that was the trailer for Supergirl. Basically, our hero Supergirl is it's her birthday weekend month. I don't know how long she's been celebrating her birthday for, but basically she's traveling around the galaxy, just going to different locations, partying, getting drunk, enjoying herself, maybe a little too much. And along the way, she encounters some bad guys and a young little girl. And she has to go on a little vengeance spree after encountering these bad guys. And Steve Miller, what did you think of Supergirl?
So yeah, I was primed for this movie to be, as Crypto would say, rough. And in that light, like, I guess you could say I was pleasantly surprised in that I think it was merely not good. Like, I think this movie is very flawed. I did not have a great time watching it, but I also don't think it was a train wreck. Like, I'm giving it pretty, like, middle of the road. So I'll start with the praises. I think the premise of this movie is very interesting, right? Like, they're trying to take the, hey, we have Supergirl, and we have some history. I don't know the comics, but some history of Supergirl represents something about feminism, or like what is different about her than it might be for the man. And like, this movie is leaning into that by having a world that is very, very dark. And it is like, she is witness to how unbelievably bleak and shitty and hopeless things are. And she doesn't see many happy endings. And so whereas for Superman, he's kind of this like bright, bubbly pinnacle of like naive, everything will be okay, humanity is great. Supergirl is kind of meant to speak to both, you know, marginalized groups and the younger generation in like a, hey, the world is super fucked. How do you still maintain while acknowledging that?
Yep.
You know, and so like, while I watched this movie, I was fairly high on the ideas behind it, like the way they wanted to frame what makes her different than her cousin, you know, what makes her saga different than his sagas, and why is this moving to like a different drumbeat. I thought that was interesting. I also think like tonally, that makes it take some bold swings that I have no problem with. People are slaughtered in this movie. Like, shitty things happen.
Yeah.
It can be very bleak. And I didn't mind that. Like, I think having that coexist with like a bitter sense of humor is kind of cool and is a interesting wrinkle that is different than the kind of sanitized Marvel world that we tend to see. So yeah, both of those I liked. And I also think Milly Alcock is generally quite good in this role. Like, there are some kind of difficult emotions she has to manage to thread in this movie. Like, she basically has to hold the whole film. I mean, it is called Supergirl, but she is doing a lot to make it work. And I think in general, she does really well. With that said, the problem is, like, interesting doesn't mean well executed or entertaining to watch. And I think the same stuff that I think on paper I like about this movie, the tonal whiplash, the darkness of it, the kind of bleakness of it, the way it actually plays out here is like the tone is not managed very well. Like, the pace feels all over the fucking map to me. And I feel like we are kind of rushed through a story without having the basic ingredients that would be required to really be on board for it. Like, one ingredient that I think would have been very helpful is having any action sequence that is filmed in a like remotely legible or entertaining way. I think the best parts of this movie are when Milly Alcock / Kara / Supergirl is just being her like bitter, cynical, I don't give a fuck self. Like, she's kind of more like Tony Stark / Robert Downey Jr. than, like that is the closest comparison. And I think she pulls it off well when she is having dialogue, when she is kind of shitting all over people, when she's preparing her next move. Whenever the actual epic triumphant stuff is meant to happen, like a big fight sequence, I feel like Craig Gillespie just kind of doesn't know what to do with it. There are many perfunctory needle drops here. Like I mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy being the tone this movie wants to strike. This movie is just throwing drop after drop after drop, and none of it has the same like inventiveness that made me fall in love with Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. It kind of makes me wonder what it takes to make a needle drop action sequence work, because clearly this has shown me that like it is not easy because I don't think they land at all. And then the other things that don't really work in this movie for me are when it wants to be inspirational. The second half of this, like, the world is dark, but ... I think it nails the world is dark and it is hard and it's okay that it's hard. But then when it wants to be like redeeming in some way, mainly through there is this character who is named Ruthie, the sidekick throughout the whole movie, basically. And she is meant to be the kind of naive innocent through whom Supergirl can kind of communicate the themes of the movie. And I think none of that works very well. It is like too sentimental in a movie that doesn't have room for sentiment. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag for me. Like, I like what it is trying to do tonally. Like, if you told me Supergirl 2 is going to be directed by some different hotshot director who I think is going to manage the tones well, I would still watch it, because I think it is laying groundwork for an interesting character, and I like some of what it is doing. I just think the core of the action and the sentiment both don't work, and that makes this a very strange blockbuster. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a lot the way you do. I mean, as you said, there is something interesting about the simple comparison between the two characters, right? Like, Supergirl is, in theory, she's supposed to be like 10 years younger or whatever she's supposed to be. Like, so she is she's the girl, she's the more childlike character, but because of her life circumstance, she has had to grow up more. And Clark is the older person by 10 years, but he is still essentially like a boy, right? Like he's a full-grown adult man, but he still has that childlike wonder or like naiveness that like you were talking about, like about the world, and like as the trailer says, like he sees the good in everybody and he wants the world to be like this perfect, just place, and he just simply cannot understand that there is unfairness in the world, and he wants to just be like, oh, things should just be fair. And then like, but she understands the reality, and like that comparison is in this film, and I like that exists, but it seems like that is such a small portion of the film, and like the little girl that she picks up along the way kind of helps to ask those questions out loud a little bit. But like really this is a very simple story of like, hey, girl needs revenge, hey, somebody took her ship, she kind of wants to go around the galaxy like partying, she needs to get her ship back, also something else happened that she also needs to get the people who took her ship back for, that I guess I'll keep not spoiled. And it's like those two things like conflate together, and then we have to go on this one mission essentially. And so that it's like the interesting part of the story is just kind of there on the periphery, and then what we're watching is a very, very simple story. There's also kind of this idea of, in the trailer again, we see these sort of flashbacks to Superman showing her the suit and being like, hey, I made you this suit so you can be a super person too. And, she's obviously not wearing it for most of this film. And it's this is sort of a story that is like a person trying to decide to don the suit, right? Like a person who doesn't want to heed the call to be the person that stands up for justice and stuff like that, but has to make the decision to be there. I think that you could do this, like, imagine this as like an HBO series where each week she's just going to a different bar, and at that bar she sees some injustice, and in her drunken stupor she like saves somebody, and over time she realizes that like she shouldn't be partying, she should be actually doing this for real. Like that is kind of the journey she's technically going on. But like if you did it as a person who begrudgingly over time realizes that she wants to fight for justice, by just happening to be in proximity and of her own volition coming to realize that like I should stand up for the people who can't stand up for themselves, that would be kind of, you could have the same sentiment and same tonality and everything about what her character's performance is, and do that in like a sort of mini series without having it to be this weird sort of empty, hollow kind of like.
She would be like Hugh Jackman's Wolverine at the start of X-Men, sort of.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's basically exactly what it was. And speaking of other things that this film might be cribbing from, when I was warning, excitedly telling you about a thing that you were going to get to witness as you watch this film, spoiling for you, I referenced another film. This film, I feel like this film is cribbing so much from...
I agree.
The Mad Max, like everything.
Definitely.
Like this film has the breeders. It has like the whole aesthetic of like the deserty landscape and like the people in all the weird armor and stuff. And I'm like, it just feels like there's no way it's not intentional, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it certainly seems to be. And I mean, her arc is very much a Furiosa arc, right? Of like, it's almost like we don't need to, without spoilers, go into it too much, but it's kind of the like, I have already seen things and can't be unhardened, but that doesn't mean I can't like try to keep other people from being hardened,
So it was definitely interesting to like see those parallels here and just be like, you're doing it all the way down to this like climactic battle scene, and it's just I was like, I feels not homage-y. In a way that was making me get weird vibes from it. So all that being said, I also kind of feel like you in the way where it's like, it's not that this is bad, it's like just that it doesn't strive very high. So it's like it doesn't swing hard enough to miss hard enough. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing where it's like it doesn't strive too hard. So you're like, yeah, okay, it wasn't that offensive to me.
I mean, like to me, it isn't quite I would argue it is taking some big swings in the sense that it's willing to alienate the audience with a plot about like, human trafficking
Yeah.
and some pretty brutal scenes. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if some audience members go out there. Like, I think it is making choices, but what's weird is it's like it's kind of like the movie is depressed. Not the movie is cynical. The movie is depressed. So it like sees all this darkness, but it's like, yeah, but I don't want to get up and do all the things about it. It's like it isn't pushing hard enough to have momentum from scene to scene in a way that is strange.
But even like the human trafficking aspect of it, and maybe it's just because it's a PG-13 movie and they didn't want to like hit it very hard, is that like it's literally during a quote unquote interrogation scene, a character just says like, oh, they're off on this planet where they're trying to make an entire race of all males. And then it's like, you just have to extrapolate how they're doing that. And then you see cages of women and you're like, got it. You know what I mean? Like they're not like explicitly like.
You're right. And that's kind of weird. It is a little weird that they don't just go full R-rated Mad Max if they like are bringing up this concept.
Yeah.
Because they've clearly already like, if you brought your kid to this movie, your kid's upset.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So it just felt like it was kind of like they just like hand wave away it. They're like, yeah, there's some horrendous shit happening here, but like, I mean, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to go over here and talk about colored suns and things like that.
What did you think about the like prolific use of flashbacks in this movie?
So I think. So here's the thing. I actually like the backstory flashback, like her, like, because we haven't actually, like, in most of the flashbacks we usually see in this story, it's usually the like, you're in the escape pod, poof, it's gone. I don't remember at least seeing a lot of time spent after the collapse of the planet.
Right.
So I actually like the flashback. I don't like all the flashbacks with Superman because it feels a lot like we got to put Superman in this movie because we need to put him in the trailer so that people can think Superman's in this movie because we need people to put butts in seats so that this movie can make a little bit of money. And that feels cheap.
Yeah. See, I was going to say, I like the content of the flashbacks, including the Superman flashbacks, though continuity-wise, I feel like a flashback should mean she's remembering something, and we're now remembering a time that she didn't yet understand the language he was speaking to her. So, but my brain short-circuited a little bit as to like what perspective we were watching that from. But in general, I think like the backstory is good, and the only thing I found kind of odd, I got the sense that they like didn't have enough story to make this a whole movie. So they had like filmed all this backstory and maybe planned on having it be like a prologue or something. And instead they were like, we got to chop this through the whole thing because we just need to have something shaking up what is otherwise like a story that doesn't have a whole lot of plot points, right? Like it's kind of like I'm not going to have to go into the details of everything that happens, but if you took away the flashbacks, this whole movie has like, I don't know, 4 locations and they kind of lead very obviously to each other without a whole lot changing in between. So I really enjoyed seeing all of this like Krypton backstory and everything. I think it's handled well. I don't totally know why you cast Dave Krumholtz for a role that is like speaking an imaginary language and could literally be anyone. It's just like you like spending money on name actors, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
but like other than I liked all of it, but then a part of me felt like, man, this kind of feels like the way this is being presented in this like kind of non-linear, occasionally jumping back here way feels more like padding and less like just trusting the story. So I don't know, I was mixed on it.
Also, I want to know. I want to know the story of that force field and the decision of who got to be inside of it. Like,
Yeah.
I want that story. I'll watch a whole series about just that. Like, I'll watch the Silo
the Andor
version. Or
Yeah.
the Andor version of that. Or like, it's just, or the Elysium version, more likely is what it is.
Yep.
Because that's some pretty dark shit too.
Yeah. Are we allowed to talk about the other famous actor who has been in previous DC movies who's in this movie, or do we?
You want to talk about Lobo?
Yeah, I think we should talk about Lobo, because to me he epitomizes both what I like about the movie and what I find incomprehensible about the execution of the movie. What I like about the movie is he is cynical, and this is a cynical movie. Like, this guy delights in just doing shit. He's having fun with the mayhem, and the movie is kind of taking his perspective, or at least finding some enjoyment in his perspective. But then as like a comical side character, he felt so weirdly not fleshed out to me. It's like a lot of relationships in this movie, like including Supergirl with Cosmo. No, Crypto. Not Cosmo. Yeah. Cosmo is Kramer. Supergirl and Crypto is like, I would normally expect, given where this movie goes, to have it lay a bunch of groundwork to first tell me why that is such an important relationship to her, and then have that be a narrative driver. And it feels like they just forget to lay the groundwork and just thrust us immediately into the action. And I feel the same with Lobo, where it's like, you told me who he is, and I'm enjoying this actor, and then there are kind of payoffs around him, but it's like you forgot to do the part where I like care about him.
But are you talking about care from the movie standpoint or care from her standpoint?
Care from the movie standpoint.
Okay.
Care from like, he's an endearing character to me, and I know enough about how he usually is that I'm going to find something interesting about seeing him again later.
I think he is just fan service. Like, my assumption is that he would be like the equivalent of like Channing Tatum showing up as Gambit in your movie. Like,
yeah,
that at least that's my assumption. Because yeah, like he's, I guess, interesting. He's like a vampire biker dude. I don't know. Like, he seems undead or vampire-y. I have no idea what the hell Lobo's supposed to be. I don't understand.
Kind of like immortal Deus Ex Machina who like could maybe do anything he wants if he gave a shit.
Yeah, I don't understand the physics of how his bike works.
Yeah, it
can fly and ride on the ground. I don't know why it ever rides on the ground if it can fly. He's got a chain with a sickle thing that, I don't know. He's got grenades, guns. He seems cool, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. He's whatever. Like, I found him funny. Like, I laughed when he came up. It just, he feels again like the kind of half-assed nature of the storytelling here, where I'm just like, you have this comic relief who is like kind of integral to large swaths of the movie toward the end, while also being totally unessential. And it's like I don't know, just a lot of how the plot unfolds in this movie feels like everything doesn't matter until suddenly it matters. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. There's just something odd about this where it feels like an incomplete story.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you there. But I think that's what I think. Like to be fair, in semi-defense of that aspect of it, is we did celebrate that about Superman, right? Mm-hmm. That film last year is that film threw us in the middle of something, threw a bunch of characters in that we may or may not know from other variants of things, and was like, just go with it. There's like aliens and weird shit and powers and all these different characters that you may or may not know about, and you just like, we just threw you in as if you had been with them for the last 30 years and you just know what it's about, and catch up or don't. And we were like, yeah, that's great. It's awesome that it just like did that. And this,
I agree.
Yeah, it's continuing that trend. The problem is that like Lobo's just fucking weird.
I mean, the thing, because and again, we're not talking about the John Wick of it all, so I don't know exactly how to underscore this. I guess I would say like the exposition, us just being thrown in, is great. I'm totally happy with that. Superman emotionally still built up to things before they happened, right? Like I'm thrown into Clark and Lois's relationship, not spoon-fed it, but we are given ample amounts of chemistry very quickly in a way that makes it meaningful later when like we're worried about her or their relationship. There are side characters in Superman that we like meet without caring about, but they like have the right amount of weight, right? Like the fulcrum of the movie isn't resting on us suddenly like caring about them. In Supergirl, it's like we have the Supergirl crypto relationship, which sidelined for much of the movie. I don't know how much to talk about, but
he's napping.
We have the Supergirl Ruthie relationship, which I feel like Ruthie is just kind of a non-entity as a character.
First of all, Stephen, she restates every time she meets somebody what her purpose is, so
right.
You shouldn't be confused.
Yeah, she is like, she's just the thing to take care of until she suddenly has to be a character that we have like lessons we want to teach her. And then we have random side people like Lobo, and we have no one else. Like basically there is no relationship in this movie that has like a sturdy through line of any kind.
There's Seth Rogen's little guy.
Yeah, I liked him. He reminded me, he's the version of Martin Scorsese showing up in Mando.
Yeah. His character was cool.
Yeah. No, he was fun.
But I will say this. It's not the answer to your question, or it's not the solve for your problem, but I do like Ruthie and Lobo's interaction in the one place they were temporarily hanging out together. I think
they would be fun. They're kind of like Thor with Thor's new sidekick, whose name I've forgotten.
I think her name's Thunder. No, Love.
Oh yeah, maybe Love. Yeah, from Love and Thunder. Their dynamic was fun. It's just like by the time the movie is following the two of them, I'm like, again, emotionally is too strong a word. I'm not trying to have massive emotions when I watch Supergirl. I more just mean like investment as an audience member. I want something to be like carrying me up and down on this roller coaster. Yeah, and I
like
just
two
felt
different
like the
colored suns.
Yeah,
opposing the different emotions in your body.
And the only character with a gravitational pull that I could see was Supergirl. Yeah. But the movie seems to hinge on the idea that we care about other characters because its construction is that like she has an arc, but a lot of the arc is around Ruthie instead. And a lot of what motivates Supergirl is crypto, and a lot of the action mechanics of the movie come down to caring about other people. I'm not doing it justice. There was just something kind of uncanny about like the things with gravity in this movie are not the things that it's using to pull us from scene to scene. And so something felt off about it.
Yeah.
I guess my only other mini question / rant is we've gotten a few female-led superhero movies now, and it feels like there's a trend in a lot of them where it's like the movie can't just be them. It has to be them plus like a sidekick that has like equal amounts of screen time in the movie, or like, and it's also, you know, women. So I'm not saying it's like a misogyny thing, but it's like studios are afraid to have us just like care about a kick-ass hero. It's like they have to be about other things too, in a way that I just find odd. Like how Captain Marvel was like equal parts Samuel L. Jackson and then immediately led to the Marvels, which like wasn't even a Captain Marvel movie. And like, also, I don't know if this is a criticism specifically of how they're handling like women as superheroes, but the need to underpower for almost the entirety of the movie is a kind of strange choice. Like I wanted more badassery. And I know mechanically you underpower any Kryptonian because just like it's too hard to have interesting action if you don't underpower, but I don't know. This felt excessive. I wanted like more times for her to kick ass, and I felt like this movie didn't give me as many as I wanted.
And the only thing, not in defense of trying to underpower female superhero characters, but maybe James Gunn is still reacting to the criticism of Zack Snyder's overpowered Superman character.
Sure.
So it's like, I will show both literally Superman opens with Superman getting the shit kicked out of him, right? Like,
yeah.
so
As
it is like
Supergirl.
yeah. So it's like, he is finding a way to take the super characters down a peg in both of these films, and he did it equally to, arguably more to Superman. Like, Superman, like, Supergirl gets roughed up, but Superman gets taken to the pavement quite a few times.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's less that like,
but I agree with what you're saying though. Yeah.
You have to and I'm really not claiming that this is a female superhero thing. I don't even remember Captain Marvel well enough to remember if they did this. It's more just like, I feel like what you want in these movies is show me how fucking awesome they are and then give me a hurdle. But I already am grounded in what they can do. Yeah. And this movie is kind of like, which again could be seen as a bold choice. This movie starts with like, she's drinking on a red sun planet and doesn't really have her powers. And we're very rarely going to even show you what they are. Yeah. And they're like, the dial just felt off in a way. And I know it's, they state that like in order to get the effects of it, she needs to be not on a red sun planet. But if she could somehow be inebriated and still have the full powers, and like, she's just as strong, has all the powers, can do everything that a super person can do, but she just is like also drunk. So she's got like that, like Jackie Chan drunken master thing going on. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Like, then that would be cool, because it's like she's taking the hits. They're not hurting her, but like she's like also doing all this like stuff that is like, I don't know. There's you could do some cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
All right, should we get to verdicts?
Sure.
Stephen Miller, if you were going to give this a must-see, recommend with a caveat, wait for rental, pass with a caveat, or a must-avoid, what would you give it?
I feel funny because I think I've been mostly harsh on this, even though my main feeling here was like, I didn't think this movie was bad. It just didn't rise to heights either. So despite my negativity, I'm going wait for rental, I guess. Like, I think this movie is like totally perfectly adequate. It doesn't really work as a gripping movie, but as table setting for a character who I want to see go on adventures in the future, I think it does plenty of interesting table setting. And I like what it was going for. Like, give me this over Mandalorian and Grogu 1,000 times. Like, this had something. It just didn't all gel together in the end. But yeah, it is definitely not Superman either. It is a big fall from the heights of Superman.
I don't know. This film could have used a buff Hutt.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no.
You could have her fight a buff Hutt.
See, that would be fun.
It's gonna be a wait for a rental from me too. Yeah, I didn't hate this film. It just sort of is. But yeah, I still like this portrayal of the character. I don't have any allegiance to the source material or anything like that, but I think, Milly Alcock's performance is good for this character. If they continue to do stuff with the character, I'm excited to see what they do next. I just hope that it's more substantial, whatever they do next with the character. So, take what you will from that. But yeah, that is going to do it for our review of Supergirl. Stephen Miller, if people want to find you throughout the week, where can they do that?
People can find me at Blue Sky at sdavidmiller or sdavidmiller.com.
People can find me at ChristopherRealLife.com or Christopher RL on a number of social platforms. You can find the podcast over at thespoilerwarning.com, where you get a bunch of the back episodes of the show. If you want to subscribe to the show, you can do so on Overcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or wherever podcasts are found. If you want to know when the episodes go live, you can follow us at twitter.com/spoilerwarning, facebook.com/thespoilerwarning, or instagram.com/thespoilerwarning. If you want to get a hold of us directly, you can send an email to fans@thespoilerwarning.com, or you can use the contact form on our site. Music for this episode will come from a track selected from artlist.io, so hopefully you're enjoying that. That is it. We are done for this week. Yeah, we will talk to you soon. All right, later.
Bye.